Well, hello. This is Jeff Gaudiosi, and you're on misplacedstraws.com, where music comes to life. And my guest today is just one of the great songwriters in rock history. Chances are, if you listen to any classic rock station, you'll hear at least one of his songs every hour. He's a founding member of Ides of March, Survivor, Pride of Lions, and World Stage. But he has a really unique record coming out on November 5th called Tigress, Women Who Rock the World. And trust me, it's one of the best records of the year. Please welcome the incomparable Jim Peterik. Welcome, Jim.
Well, thanks for having me on, Jeff. That was quite a nice intro. I'll take it. But, thank you. Yeah, it's
well,
been a long ride, and I'm still having a ball.
yeah. Well, so let's start with Tigress. I mean, it consists of songs you wrote for just some of the most amazing women in rock. How did you first get the idea to take your world stage format and come up with a female version?
Yeah, I was on the phone with Serafino Perugino, the head of Frontiers, and he was saying, Maestro, it's time for another world stage
Mhm.
album. And I go, well, yeah, I just did one with Toby. I love Toby.
Mhm.
And then thinking on my feet, I said, how about a world stage for all females?
Mhm.
And he thought for a while and he tucked away his macho side and said, sounds good. And he drew up the contracts. And now I was on the line for, finding the right ladies. And
Mhm.
that was a lot of fun, actually. Uh, and I first went for a couple of my heroes or heroines that weren't able to do it. Uh, like, you know, I really love Ann Wilson, but she was unavailable. Stevie Nicks was not available, and I started looking for equal talent, but maybe that aren't quite as famous
Mhm.
or on the rise. Capturing before they've really broken through
Yeah.
or in that mid area of their life, like Janet Gardner, who was
Mhm.
just so much fun to work with, so inspiring. I was a big fan of hers when she was with Vixen.
Mhm.
And talk about a strong
God,
voice.
yeah. Mhm.
And what I like to do, for this album, I'm pretty good at being the tofu in the room where I kind of absorb the flavors of people. And I'll tell you what, Janet really inspired me, and I loved Vixen, and I started writing a song, and I demoed it with Kathy Richardson, and anyway, it was called Lazarus Heart,
Mhm.
and I sent it to Janet, and she said, "Man, have you been reading my diary? You know, that's exactly the way I feel. I just keep rising. If I get my heart broken," she said, I don't let it get me down, and I've been
Mhm.
through a lot of, you know, we all go through a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
and you just got to be that rising Lazarus. So she really
Mhm.
got inspired, and I sent her the track, and you can hear the results.
Mhm.
Killer.
Yeah.
If I do say so, I can talk about it because I didn't sing it, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
it was really a
Yeah.
great thing.
And as always, your writing on this record is so good, and each song is a perfect fit for the style and the voice of the person singing it. First of all, did you have to do some research on some of the women that you may not have been as familiar with to
Uh,
hear their style? And did you write for the specific singer, or did you match the singer to the song you had?
wow, that's a big question.
Yeah.
Most of the singers, I was very well, I
Mm.
was knowledgeable about all their styles, especially people that are the women that were in from this town, like Kathy Richardson,
Mhm.
who I discovered. Really, I kind of discovered her when she was 18, and her dad was pumping gas. He owned a gas station,
Mhm.
and as he filled up my XKE, which was a nightmare car, but that's another story. He said, my daughter sings, and I go, oh shit, every daughter sings.
Yeah.
But I was nice, and I took his card, and I didn't do anything about it. And then Linda Mensch, the premier music attorney in town, who tragically was killed on a hit and run about a month ago. That's a story for another day. But she said, that Kathy Richardson, that you met her dad, you should really listen to her. So this very scared 18 or 19-year-old came to my house, still in this exact room, and she came in and sat down there and took out her guitar and proceeded to blow me away. And I produced her first album, Moon That Banana, and we've been fast friends. And now, of course, I mean, she's racked up so many accomplishments. Loved Janis. She was Janis Joplin on Broadway. And, of course, Jefferson Starship now, and so much in between, solo albums. And I love her. And she actually has, I think, 3.5 songs, 3 solo and a half duet with Kimmy Hayes, another great Chicago artist. So when I could work one-on-one in person in this studio, I would. Otherwise, it was files, and the real trick is to make it sound like you're in one room, and Larry, who you met today, Larry, I've known since 3rd grade. He was the leader of the Ides of March, and still is. The original 4 Ides of March are still together. He made this sound like we're all in one room, just with the techniques of miking and ambience, and you would never say, we're in different hemispheres a lot of times.
Yeah. Well, and it was funny because I actually spoke with Chloe Lowery about this record, and she had mentioned how she'd recorded her parts in her home studio, and how she never actually got to meet you or some of the other people that were working on it. And just for someone like you, who's very hands-on and gets involved in the recording of everything you do, how much of a shock to the system was it to try and record this way?
It was really kind of Christmas every time I got a vocal back. It really was. I mean, a couple times, I won't mention any names, I sent them back to the microphone and go, you can do better than this.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard you and you're holding back, a lot of the girls didn't know what I wanted really. And like someone like Kate French, she's a heavy metal singer.
Yeah.
And she's got all that gravel, and that wouldn't have worked for this record. I said, can you sing normal? She said, I haven't for years, but for you, And it turns out she's got a wonderful voice, all the way upstairs, and it took a little bit of taming the tiger, taming the Tigress, but she really delivered on 2 songs, and now she wants to do an album in that voice, and she's in the video. Let's see, the main video, of course, is Prom Night in Pontiac.
Yes,
You've seen
with
that,
Chloe.
yeah, and she's just killer. And then the next release is the lyric video on acapella?
Acapella, yes, with
Yeah.
Chaz Kane. Yeah.
With Shay Kane, whatever Chaz, whatever. She's amazing.
Yeah, her debut record is another one of my favorites, and I was excited to see her work with you because she has a voice, I think, that fits everything, and the work she did with Danny Rexon from Crazy Licks on her solo record was fantastic.
Yeah.
And when I saw that she was working with you, I'm like, well, it's a completely different spin, and again, much like Danny did, you just brought out the best in her voice.
Well, it didn't take much. That was the first. She expected to redo it a few times, and I got the master take. I said, "You're done." She said, "Really?" Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And she was very flattered, but that was like the second take she sang in her studio, and now I'm waiting for Tigress.
Yeah.
That's going to be a lyric video. These lyric videos are hitting a new plateau of almost looking like videos because all the girls were asked to film themselves in front of a black backdrop and instead of just being some little goofy cartoon or something, it's them actually playing. And sometimes I get in there. You
Yeah.
notice I got in the video of
Yeah.
prom night
Yeah.
playing it. That was Larry's idea. Hey, get in there, you know. But had a ball making this record.
Yeah. And now I do have to say, we have a rule here on Misplaced Straws that as we're doing an interview, if you're sitting there with a guitar, you got to play something about halfway through the interview, a little musical interlude. So, is there anything you'd like to play for us?
I'll be ready.
Yeah, yeah. So whenever you're ready, you just start playing, and
Okay,
we're good. Yeah,
I will keep that in mind.
yeah. And now we've mentioned a few of the singers, Kathy Richardson, Chloe, and Kate French all have multiple tracks on the record. And I
Right.
think it's interesting that they're all slightly different styles, even though it's the same vocalist. What was it particularly about those three where you knew that you had multiple songs that really fit what they do?
Well, that's kind of always been my specialty. You know, I think I'm musical tofu. I absorb the
Mm,
flavors around me, like I said, and uh, I've been doing that all my career, which
mm,
was kind of the problem with the Ides of March because, you know, we put out something like Vehicle in '70 and then we go country rock, you know, and who are they, you
yeah.
know? And it's all the Ides of March, but sometimes my songwriter influences are so broad.
Mm,
So it's perfect for a project like this where the continuity is in the vocalist.
yeah.
It's, you know, and the songs can be very diverse. And of course, you know, I did tailor the song to the singer, and it seemed to work.
Mhm. And it's not just the vocalists on this record. You have a lot of female musicians that take
Yeah.
part in it as well. I mean, including the immense talent that is Jennifer Batten. And you've worked with Jennifer a lot in the past, but some of the other people that came in to work on it, did you have experiences working with these women, or how did you find some of them?
Well, you know, Jennifer Batten was my number one go-to,
Mm,
and you know, she did you know, an album with me and Toby Hitchcock, and that
mm,
was just a great experience. She loved working with me, and I loved working with her. But she's also this massive switchboard of talent,
yeah.
and she hooked me up with so many of the gals
Mhm,
that a lot of musicians, drummers, not so much singers as the female parts of the
mhm,
band.
mhm,
So that was a good choice, and she's all over this record.
mhm,
Um, you know, if I needed a little extra spice, I'd give the song to Jennifer, and she would start shredding, and it would become a new song, like Full Moon Crazy.
mhm.
Um, it was good,
Yeah.
but when she got a hold of it, it became great. That's what she
She
does.
is so talented.
Oh my
Yeah,
God!
yeah.
And she's you know, I got a world stage show coming up January 15th,
Mm,
and I got quite a few of the gals from this record. Not as many as I would have liked
mhm,
because of scheduling, but I wanted to get Janet very badly, but she's busy.
mhm,
But Batten is coming
mhm.
out,
Oh,
and
that's
she's going to be out there shredding like nobody's business. And you know, I think well, Kathy Richardson will be a part of
yeah.
that show, and uh, of course, males too.
Mm.
For the first time, I got Mark Stein from Vanilla Fudge
Oh, great.
as one of my
Mhm.
guests, and Tough Enough, Kim
Yep.
Wilson
Yep.
blowing some harp and playing his blues.
Mm,
Chicago's own the Ides of March. We're
mm,
always on the bill
mm.
when for a world stage.
Yeah.
For how many years? 57 years together. I guess we should know our stuff by now.
And the world stage concept of bringing in different vocalists and different band members is something you've gone back to multiple times over the
Right.
years. Do you see yourself now doing more in this direction with female singers, or eventually combining everything together, or Where do you see it going next?
Yeah, I mean, I would very happily do a Tigress too,
Hmm.
but in between there, I think we're going to do a Pride of Lions
Hmm.
record, and we're still promoting the Ides of March
Yep.
Play On record because it got short shrift being released during the COVID, you
Yeah.
know, and that's a great album. Fred Mullen, he of Jimmy Webb fame, he produced all the Jimmy Webb albums from '74 to the present day, and he produced the record. We became friends in Nashville. Nashville's kind of like my second home
Hmm.
because it's, as you know, such a music city.
It's a great
You know,
place. Yeah.
and I don't know if you read. I mean, somehow everybody knows that I played the Grand Ole Opry on Friday night, and it's in the water somewhere. But
Mhm.
that was a big thrill, and the country band, the not the Elvira.
The Oak Ridge Boys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, duh. I mean, I got so many names here.
Yeah.
But I got up there and the place was filled. It was at the Grand Ole Opry,
Mhm.
Opry, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the new one, which has
Mhm.
been there now for about 20 years. But they still have a piece of the old Ryman stage. That's where you stand.
Yeah.
And I made sure I stood there and get that vibe,
Yeah.
and that energy from there. And I had the best band in life, in Nashville. You swing a cat and you get
Mhm.
a amazing musician or a star. And so we started with Vehicle. I told the
Mhm.
story behind it, how I uh, try to win back my girlfriend, who was not dating me, but just wanted me for rides, you know, and no kiss, no nothing, just a handshake. Thanks, Jim. And I started getting a little resentful, and I started thinking, all I am is your vehicle, baby. And sure enough, it became a number one record. And I told that story. People love hearing it, but the real punchline is 49 years later, I'm still married to that girl. I got her back.
Yeah.
I got her back.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I tell the story of Eye of the Tiger and how Stallone calls me, but I think it's a prank call, right?
Mm.
And my wife says, "You better call him back. I think that's Stallone." And I call him back. "Hey, yo, Jim, give me." And he said, "I got this new movie called Rocky 3, and I don't want to use that "Gonna Fly Now" song, right? I want something with a pulse, something for the kids. Can you help me out?" I said, "Hell yeah, hell yeah."
And you did.
And the rest is history. Who knew?
And now, again, this record is called Tigress. Your band with Toby Hitchcock, who also had a record out last year, was Pride of Lions. You just
No,
mentioned
yes, yes.
you just mentioned Eye of the Tiger. What is it about lions and tigers that create this running motif through your career?
Yeah, I was thinking about that today. I think it's power. I
Mhm.
think it's sex. These are sexy animals, man. They might kill you, but
Mhm.
what a way to go.
Yeah.
You know, and they're beautiful, beautiful animals and iconic. They photograph really well.
Yeah.
But Pride of Lions. I had that name in my back pocket for
Mhm.
decades, and finally, I had the opportunity, and it's just a great name.
Mhm.
Uh, and Lions, Pride of Lions.
Mhm.
That's strong. That's
Yeah.
really strong. So yeah, and I don't owe the cats any royalties, which is really great.
And you mentioned you have the World Stage Show coming up in January.
Mhm.
Have you been able to consider any touring plans? You're just kind of waiting to see how things clear up at all. Do you
Mhm.
know what's coming up?
Well, we're all just on tenterhooks,
Mm.
hoping for the best as far as the COVID. But the odds, a lot of the dates that were canceled, we're siphoning off to the last quarter of this year and into the next year.
Mhm.
So we have quite a few Ides of March shows, which is great. And we have a cruise in the fall. Uh, and if everything goes well, we'll be rocking all year.
Yeah.
So, but you can't predict everything.
No.
I think it's
Yeah.
going in the right direction. I'm going to Italy with my wife at the end of this month for a week, over a week, and I'm performing with Mindy Abair, who you hear on the record, the
Yep.
sax phenom.
Hmm.
She and her husband have a wine tour company that is doing really well. He's a wine distributor, and of course she's this gorgeous sax player, singer. She's singing on Brave is Beautiful along with Leslie Hunt, and she sat in with the Ides of March about 2 weeks ago on stage. Anyway, she's a dear friend. So we're going to visit Tuscany in Italy, and it's kind of a working vacation. It's going to be great.
Sounds wonderful. Well, we've been spending some time here with the one and only Jim Peterik. The record is called Tigress, Women Who Rock the World. I can't recommend it enough. It just really is such a strong record. I think it's some of the best writing you've done in a long time, and that's saying a lot considering your last few records. But Jim, thank you so much for taking the time to do
Well,
this.
you're right, and I didn't find a gaping hole, so you see it all around you. Good loving gone bad, and usually it's too late when you realize what you have. My mind goes back to the girl I met long years ago, who told me just hold on loosely, but don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're gonna lose control. Your baby needs someone to believe in, a whole lot of space to breathe in.
Thank you so much for that. Much appreciated.
My pleasure. That's just for you, dude.
Jim, thanks so much. Best of luck with this record. Hopefully we can catch you on the road when you get out here to the East Coast sometime soon.
Yeah. Well, it's a pleasure talking to you. You're awesome, and I like your guitars back there.
Thank you very much.
That was inspiring me the whole time we were talking. All
We'll
right,
talk
man.
soon.
God bless. Rock on, and thanks.
Thank you.